And I'm live. All right, awesome.
Okay.
All right. Welcome to the Power and Bell debate. I'm Malevolent. I will be kind of asking questions here about what's going on in the war from Exodus' view as well as DA's view. And hopefully, we can debunk some things that I recently in the Discord chat to see Power or other members from Exodus as well from DA's side arguing about I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. This is right, you're wrong. Like he should, she should, kind of thing. So hopefully we can debunk a couple of things tonight and get everything ready. So Avel and Power, if you don't mind introducing yourselves to people that may not know you, which might be minimal, but
I guess Val, you can go first.
Awesome. So I'm Vel. I'm the current Spirit of DA. Basically, my job is I'm the Foreign Affairs Administrator, and I'm also the Director of Media.
Um, I'm Power, Chief Foreign Affairs Officer for Exodus. At this point, if you haven't heard of me, you probably haven't been in the community. So, yeah, that's
ooh, a
it. I
little
guess.
presumptive there.
I mean, it's fair enough, right? The last two wars have been about me in some way, so I would hope you would know who I am.
Okay. All right. So the first question that I'm pretty sure everyone's wondering too is the one raid where Exodus has used a Divine Angels map against Divine Angels, and I believe it was Divine Axios admitting to adding teleporters to the secret teleporters to the base. Um, and Exodus is saying they claim that win due to the fact that the attackers did know about the teleporters, and DA, I believe you guys are saying that you won the raid because Exodus ended the game prematurely. Am I correct in saying that?
There are other reasons. If you want me to get into that, I'll be more than happy to.
Sure, Val. Why don't you go first?
All right.
Power, like I said before, let
Yeah,
them
All right.
finish before you do the rebuttal.
of course.
Would you like me to tell the whole story from my perspective, or you just want me to answer the question straight up? Why we won?
You feel like whichever you prefer. Does not matter.
Okay. So I'll just say from the beginning. So from our perspective, this is what happened. So straight off the bat, in the Halo Clan community chat, there's so many, don't remember exactly which one. Uh, we were asking Power which raid base they were going to be conducting the next, raid on. Uh, Power then said he was going to be using DA Fort. What is it? Helios? I'm not sure. Temple Helios. And we told him straight up you can't use it, etc. With their map for their, sorry, I can't speak today. With their map policies, they can use any maps as long as credit is given. And so what ended up happening is once we were given notice about this, Axios went ahead and sabotaged the map. So we will admit he put a secret teleporter on the map. So that way, if they decided to actually use the map, then it would be kind of on their fault. With that being said, we waited at least until an hour into the raid. We went into the secret teleporter, killed everybody in the base. After DA had full control over the base, Exodus barely made an effort to try to take back the base. They claimed raid win and ended the game, and yeah.
I guess it's
And
my. Oh, go ahead.
oh
Some people. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just
oh
trying
no,
to
no.
finish.
Oh, okay. And for the reasons why we won. First of all, with the secret teleporter, uh, obviously it was a secret teleporter, which clearly violates ROE. On top of that, we did inhabit the base at the end of the raid, which in the ROE does mean we're the victors of the raid, and you guys did end the game prematurely.
So, if I may say something, when the base did have secret teleporters, but Divine Angels added the teleporters by themselves on their own
I
intent to take
I
to
feel
be a
like it would be useful for the purposes of neutrality for just me and Val to talk. I don't want to get into the situation where it seems like the moderator's biased in some way, right?
No, of course.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just
Let me
wondering, like,
let me go ahead. So I guess I'll go ahead with my rebuttal quickly. So Val, you said that in the community chat, you said that Exodus said we were going to use the DA map, which was DA forcing Helios, whatnot. That's incorrect. We said we were considering the map. I'm sure you're familiar with that. At no point in the kick chat conversation did we confirm the map we were using. Are you aware of that?
I haven't looked at the screenshots in a while, but to my knowledge, you guys did say you guys were going to be using it.
I believe
or at least,
in the video you uploaded on YouTube previously discussing this, you said that we were considering using the map. I believe you said that
Yeah.
wording in your own video. So you're aware
Yeah.
that we didn't confirm that, we were merely considering it.
Yeah.
So you misrepresented that claim and that point there. Secondly, you're arguing that it's important to remember here, right, that DA both toured and approved of the map. It's difficult to argue that we use this map without DA consent when you guys toured and approved the map for usage on the raid. Is that correct?
Yeah. With that being said, I'd like to say that, you know, we're at a point in war, so there's very few things that we're going to go ahead and, you know, decline. And at that point, if you guys want to use our own bases against us,
I guess I'm
at this point-
interested. I'm interested in how you can be arguing that we used the map without your permission when you reviewed and approved it.
Well, the thing is, like with Halo 5, as
No,
you know,
it's not a broader conversation. You toured and approved the map. If you approved the map for raid usage, how could you possibly argue that we used it without your permission?
because we specifically said we don't approve.
Mm.
We don't like you guys
Yes.
using our map, but if that's what you guys are going to
No.
be using for the raid, then that's
Axios,
what you guys are going to be using.
Axios said that he didn't appreciate us
I
bookmarking
think
the
to
map.
answer your question, let him finish answering your question, and then you may go on.
Okay. There's a pretty clear failure in logic here to say that you're going to approve somebody using your map and then later claim that they used it without your permission. That's two contradictory claims. Those cannot coexist. The fact that you approved the map for raid usage means that you were okay with Exodus using the map. Point one. In regards to the teleporter being secret, it's difficult to argue the teleporter was secret when DA knew about the teleporter. The ROE bans secret teleporters. DA knew the teleporter existed, they added it. It wouldn't constitute a secret teleporter. Because the teleporter led into the base, the map is unraidable. If there's a teleporter directly from spawn into the base, it's not a raidable map. And if it's not a raidable map, you can't have a raid, which means ROE no longer applies, which means base control doesn't matter, which means ending the game early doesn't matter because it's an unraidable map. For all intents and purposes, this could have been a raid on Duck Hunt. It wouldn't matter because the map is fundamentally unraidable. So the argument regarding base control is irrelevant. The argument regarding end the game early is irrelevant because the ROE wouldn't apply because the map is not raidable. It's also, the ROE explains that if the map breaks ROE, the fact that your clan agreed to that, the fact that your clan agreed to raid a map that eventually breaks ROE still would constitute an ROE violation. That's not what happened here. Because the map did not violate ROE, you were aware that the teleporter existed. It's not a secret teleporter. The map didn't violate ROE. It's simply an unraidable map.
All right. If I could go ahead and, you know, say my 2 cents.
Go ahead.
So with that being said, you're saying the teleporter wasn't secret. Some flaws that I'm seeing within the ROE that I definitely think we definitely need to have another ROE meeting to discuss some stuff in here. Now, it didn't exactly say which side it was secret towards. So with that being said, if you're claiming that the teleporter, quote unquote, wasn't secret, that must mean that Exodus had full, you know, intentions that there was a teleporter, and you guys knew 100% there was a secret, quote unquote, secret teleporter on the map, and you guys continued to use that variant without deleting it.
We are going to edit the DA map.
I'm sorry, what?
DA made it explicitly clear that you guys don't want us editing or changing your maps. You're not going to edit your map without permission.
But if you guys saw a clear ROE violation, why wouldn't you edit? I see a very big flaw in logic there. If you know there is a clear ROE violation right here. There's a secret.
It's not an
teleporter
ROE violation because
is.
it's not secret. You're aware the teleporter existed.
So you guys were also 100% aware that the
Once
teleporter existed.
again, we've established it's not an ROE violation.
How is it not an ROE violation?
You're aware the
So-
teleporter existed.
We are aware.
Mhm.
I've asked this multiple times. Were you guys 100% aware that the teleporter was in the base?
I believe it's a safe assumption of B that the person who selected the map is aware of what's on the map.
Well, I wouldn't say safe assumption. I mean, we're talking here like logic. We're trying to, this is a debate. I
Yes.
wouldn't just assume.
And
Do you have confirmation that they
I-
knew that it was on the map?
I can safely confirm that, yes.
Okay, so you can confirm that Exodus knew there was a teleporter that led from spawn into the base, and that you guys still used it.
We were aware of the map DA provided,
Well,
or DA had, right? It's also interesting. It's also interesting. As like a tangent note here. It's interesting that standard DA raid maps have teleporters leading from the base, from spawn into the base. I think it's just an interesting standard for DA maps to have.
something I want to
now,
say
It's
is-
unusual.
is that
Well,
you
that's
knew
not
the
the-
secret you knew the secret teleporters were in the map previously before the raid started? That's what he's asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. So before the raid started, you guys looked at it in 4, checked it over to make sure you guys wanted to use it. You guys saw there was a secret teleporter, quote unquote secret teleporter on the map. You guys saw that this teleporter leads from here to spawn, or from spawn to into the base, and you still decided to use it without. I mean, I see the flaw there.
What's the
because-
flaw there?
The flaw is you guys could have easily deleted the teleporter.
We
And
aren't
there
going to
would
edit a DA map because Axios made it explicitly clear that he did not want us editing your maps. So
Well,
we
something-
followed that guideline.
Well, I mean, with your guys' foreign policy, I don't think that really matters, right? Because you did say that all maps are up for quote unquote, the public use, the public property. So you could take the map. and
Yes,
edit
but we wanted to follow the wishes of DA to the best of our ability.
Okay.
So, Power, just to clarify, you knew the secret teleporters were Exodus knew the secret teleporters were on the map previous before the raid started.
Yes. Once
But
again,
you
they aren't
still-
secret teleporters. We were aware that DA had intentions to claim ROE violation because of a teleporter they added, which is fundamentally against, like, when it's against the spirit of a raid, right? It's against the spirit of a raid to enter a raid with the intention to declare an ROE win. I don't believe, and Exodus doesn't believe that any clan should enter a raid with the intention of claiming a win on the basis of ROE, on the basis of map selection and map modification, right? That shouldn't be the intention behind any raid. DA entered the raid with that intention. There needs to be some sort of recourse and punishment for that type of behavior.
But didn't Exodus also enter basically with the same idea? Because
No.
Exodus attempted to claim an ROE win due to them using the teleporters.
No. One, we did not claim that win based on ROE. Secondly, we did not initiate the usage of that teleporter. If DA did not use that teleporter, we would not have used that teleporter, right? The first claim to use that teleporter was DA.
All right.
All right. So DA
Go.
used the teleporter, the secret teleporter, into the base to spawn the base, which violates
It's
ROE.
it's not a secret teleporter, but clans were aware of it.
Teleporter from spawn to base.
Yes.
So
And
what I have a question about.
Yes.
I'm sorry. If Exodus was aware that there was a secret teleporter.
Not
how
a
come
secret
five-
teleporter.
Okay. If Exodus was aware there was a teleporter.
Yeah.
Into the base, how come 5 of our guys was able to make it into the base with nobody guarding that teleporter and wipe out nearly your entire team? I would have thought if you guys had.
I don't
known there was a
understand.
teleporter-
I don't understand why this is relevant to the conversation.
Well, I think it is because there was legitimately nobody on that.
You're discussing tactics.
Well, what I'm saying is that, think about it logically. If you know there's a flaw right here, you're going to try to your best ability to fix that flaw. And I know you would. If you know,
You're
there's
arguing
an entrance to
tactics
this
here.
base.
There's no real point of conversation here.
I think that, knowing Exodus, if they knew there was a teleporter, if they actually knew there was a teleporter going into the base, how come 5 of us went into the base undetected through that teleporter and killed people around the base? I just don't understand that.
We're discussing.
I don't understand your line of logic here. Like the tactics Exodus uses in any given raid is not important here. So like what's the claim you're trying to support here with this line of logic?
What I'm trying to say.
Yes,
is
I understand what you're trying to
where
say.
the teleporter is.
I understand
where the
what you're trying to
teleporter is,
say.
You can go right out into the base, and you know, why wouldn't you put people there? You know,
because
you
we
had
didn't
every
want to.
because you why? Because that
Because we
doesn't
didn't
make any
want.
sense.
Your makes sense in comparison to what? There's no argument to be made here. You're arguing that Exodus ought to have done something. That's not a real argument. That's just your opinion.
I mean, if
It's
you
not.
look,
There's no logical claim to be made here. You're arguing that Exodus should have done something tactically in a raid. That's like saying Exodus should have had some sniper at this location, but we didn't want to, so we didn't do it. That's the level of argument you're posing here. So unless there's some greater grounds to this line of logic, let's move on.
Very well then. So we're gonna leave that for a little bit right now. The next thing I want to bring up is the surprise raids being counted within the raid. Being counted towards the war record. I apologize. Now if you notice from previous wars, surprise raids weren't really counted. Vel, if you can answer me this, how come Divine Angels is including surprise raids into the war record?
so with wars and just overall raids throughout the community, it's always been tradition and just I've always seen it that everybody always they count surprise raids. I haven't seen Exodus is the first clan that I've seen that separates that. If you're at war, you can surprise raid, and that's it. It goes towards the score. I've never not
You're arguing
I've never
tradition.
Consider the
You're arguing.
fact that
You're arguing
power-
tradition. Just out of curiosity, what year did you join the community?
I joined the community in 2013.
Okay, so I've been here since 2010, and
Okay.
2010, 2011, 2012, it was not common to count surprise rates. In fact, the practice of keeping war records at all wasn't really common, right? So if you're going to argue tradition, I think it's a poor argument because you're discussing that with somebody who's more qualified in the conversations of what was tradition in the community.
Even
Secondly-
then, I mean, if you look
Secondly-
at now, I mean,
Go
how
ahead.
many clans do you see that don't count surprise raids?
there's several clients that don't
I
include.
don't believe NAVCOM. I don't believe NAVCOM counts it. I don't believe FS counts it. I don't believe Exodus counts it. A lot
So
of
you're
clans
saying that-
haven't been placed in a situation where they need to make this choice in recent history. UGN has not been placed in a situation. VAST does count them. NRI is an inactive clan. There's not of the clans that have been involved in raids, right? The majority, at least the 3 clans listed, don't count them. So I guess can you name definitively clans that do count surprise raids?
I mean, looking at clans, and if you also want me to name past clans, I can do that.
No, you're discussing current clans. So I guess I named a couple current clans that don't count surprise raids. Just out of curiosity, what current clans do count them?
Okay. I know DA does, as well as I know, if NRI was doing something, they definitely.
NRI is an inactive clan, so I'm not sure if that's a sound argument.
Okay. On top of that, I know you already said VAST. UAE does. Orta does. I believe AFS does. I believe UGN does as well. I know the Imperium did. I'm not sure what they're doing currently. But that's just listing some things off the top of my head.
Yeah, so
I don't believe Gold Nation has been in any wars recently that they counted surprise raids. I know they were at war with.
UGN has been in a situation where they've needed to make some sort of policy decision on how surprise rates are counted, right? But I guess, Vel, as a question of curiosity here, what in your opinion, or what not in your opinion, what in DA official policy constitutes a surprise rate?
So, a surprise raid would be members from the opposing clan joining a game with the intent of starting a conflict. So, joining in, starting to attack a certain clan or a certain
Do they
individual.
need to start an attack?
And I would say as long, in our case, we've got, us going in with the intent of, we're at war. We go in to surprise raid you guys. and the first thing you guys do is, as one of our guys loads in, is end the game. We came in a surprise raid, you guys, and you guys ended it. I would count that as win.
So there's no other requirement besides joining a game with the intention of attacking the clan. No other requirements.
No. They're definitely what I think it definitely differs from hostile clans to neutral to.
No, I understand. So a clan that's at war, right? What constitutes a surprise raid? Joining a game with the intention of attacking. What else?
Yes. Joining the game with the intentions of attacking, and obviously, you join in, you load in, and
Is there any requirement for how many people need to be in this game?
I would say no.
Okay.
I've been in.
So I just want to be clear then. Is that official DA policy, or is that your opinion?
That's my opinion.
Do we have official DA policy on this?
We do not have official DA policy on this.
So I just want to be clear. I just want to be clear here.
Yeah.
DA is deciding surprise raid victories based upon a policy that doesn't exist in any complete form.
It's not a 100% written down policy. It's something that myself, Axios, and Helios, as well as MD. It's something we all share, and it's what we all. It's, if you want to say, DA policy.
So
you could call it DA policy if you want.
But it's important to make a distinction here, because I'm not sure if I can take your personal opinion and apply that without having, say, Axios say, no, it's not official DA policy, right? And I think it's important here how we define, how it's troubling how we have a DA who doesn't have a clear definition for what a surprise raid is, but is declaring wins based on surprise rates. Do you see how that's a problem?
No, I mean, I can definitely understand what you're saying. With what I mean by, my opinion, and it's the reason it's difficult to say is because, there's some people in DA that, might think of it as, oh, you have to join in.
No, I feel like do you see the concern how you're declaring wins based on a policy that doesn't completely exist?
Yep.
Can you justify that in any meaningful way?
I mean, with the basis of our hierarchy and our council system, not really council system, it's more of a hierarchy. With that, we do. How do I put it? I mean, I guess I would have to say what I stated earlier is DA policy. Just I like to refrain from, having it all said and written down.
Well, it's important how DA is doing surprise raids and then determining the policy afterwards. Because if the policy is fluid, right? This is a fluid policy. It doesn't exist in any written form. So there's no way to know what the DA raid policy on surprise raids was yesterday. So because DA has the capability to change the policy after an event has already occurred and then declare victory based on this new policy, it undermines the entire basis of declaring anything on surprise raids. If a policy doesn't exist, you shouldn't be declaring wins based on a non-existent policy. Like, it's really difficult to justify a situation where you're declaring wins based on a policy that has no written form.
No, I definitely understand what you're saying.
If you understand what I'm saying, then please justify why you're doing the opposite.
I mean, with this being said, this has been something that we've always.
I understand, but you understand my point. I'm asking why you're doing the opposite. Historical precedent doesn't matter here. You know the logic is up. You know there's an error in this logic. I'm asking why you're ignoring that, and why DA as a clan is ignoring that.
Val, you there?
Yeah, sorry. I just got a text. I would have to say we're not as much ignoring it as it would be. I'm trying to figure out the right terms to use.
Take your time.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. I know I've already said this, but we've always, obviously in our on our tradition and what we've carried out, is this the way that we've always done surprise raids, and until this certain point, there's never been a strict reasoning to write everything down. I do understand the concern because saying, oh, okay, well, you guys don't have everything written down. It's not a 100% solid policy, I guess.
There is no policy. Exodus cannot be certain a policy exists. We've not seen this policy. If I asked you for this policy right now, could you provide it to me?
I could write it up. That's my best answer.
So if I asked you this right now, could you provide it to me? Like if I asked you to send your surprise rate policy to me in the next 30 minutes, could you do it?
Yes.
Could you send it to me in the next 30 minutes then?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome.
But anyways, it's important to understand how you're declaring. So at the time the surprise rate in question occurred, was there any written surprise rate policy?
Not written down, no.
So how was the surprise rate judged? How's it determined to be a valid surprise rate? Just the opinions of your staff?
It's from our tradition how we've always done things. How we've ran and how we've generally just...
Even though it's your tradition, it doesn't mean it will carry out to other clans in the community. They have the same tradition that you have. You also have to consider the fact
because, like, for example, just earlier, you said that in your opinion, the total number of people in this raid doesn't matter, correct? And you said that we could effectively take your opinion as DA policy, since you, Axios, and a couple of people in DA effectively agree on these shared opinions, correct?
Yes.
So your opinion was that the member count doesn't matter. So in theory, we could find a single member of DA to start up a game, have one member of Exodus join, have the DA member end the game, repeat that 20 times in one day, and have this record be, 23-3 by this evening. You see the problem in this logic.
Yeah.
But right now, that's a DA policy. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So, since you guys discussed about that, what's the current war record? Is it going to be 3-3 or 6-1 as DA claims and Exodus claiming 3-3?
We're still supporting the 3-3 claim.
Yep, and we're obviously still going to be supporting this 6-1 claim.
So you still stand by the surprise rate?
Yes.
You stand by a surprise rate in which Gairusa joined a game, didn't enter the base, didn't shoot a bullet.
Well, the way I see it is we had, what was it? I'll go look at the screenshot, but I believe we had 7 people in queue loading in.
I'm asking how many people are in the game. Only one person loaded in. He didn't fire around. He didn't
one person
enter the
loaded
base.
in, and Exodus officials, I believe you had a sergeant or 2 in there, got frightened and ended the game.
Do you have any proof that they were, quote, frightened?
Let me take a look at my screenshots real quick.
Could you provide those screenshots in the Skype chat?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll do it. Well, one moment. Let me go to the Xbox app.
Let me start my timer for this ROE thing. What's surprise rate thing? 30 minutes. Start.
All right. Sorry about that. Going to my captures. I'm just going to go grab it. If you guys do want to move on to the next thing, and I will post the screenshot.
I guess we could discuss the, what was it? What raid was that? The second raid, right? Regarding the ROE violations. So I'm sure you're aware that Exodus. So I'm sure you're aware the DA claimed a raid victory here, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure you're aware that Exodus declared a raid victory based on 3 unique and separate ROE violations. The first being that we contacted DA regarding ROE violations and they ignored it. The second being that the sum of the ROE violations surpassed 30 minutes. And the third being that there were over 3 unique ROE violations.
Okay.
So in regards to the greater than 3 unique ROE violations, right? As I'm sure you're aware. Well, actually, I'm sure you're aware.
Wait, question: did you say that the third was that there was 3 unique?
There were over
Or
3 unique. There were 5. Well, there were 5 different ROE violations. There was the same ROE violation repeated 5 times. If you go read the actual text of the ROE, it's clear that you could perceivably repeat the same ROE violation 5 unique times. That would constitute an ROE breach.
Okay.
So, as I'm sure you're aware, well, in the way that Helios, when he went back and reviewed Gameville, he said that there were 2. He reported 3 different times for ROE violations. That was Benghazi from 107 to 122, and then from 127 to 138, and then Monkey from 106 to 124. That would be 3. What Helios failed to report, and what video proves, is that Benghazi returned to base, committed suicide, and then went back to spawn to continue spawn killing. He did that twice. He did that at 118 and 120, which actually makes the total sum of ROE violations 5. 107 to 118, 118 to 120, 120 to 122, 127 to 138, and then Monkey from 106 to 124. 5 ROE violations would be greater than 3. That's a raid forfeit.
Well, if it was, now I believe the RE violations said that it would be considered an RE violation if either you messaged us and we did not fix that within 3 minutes, or if they went above 30 minutes.
No.
And
Once again, the 30-minute and the requirement to send you a message are 2 separate. You can go check the text. I'm pulling up right now for myself just to take a look at it. But that's a separate text. So those are unrelated to this claim.
okay, let me go take a look at that again. So you're saying that does not apply?
I'm saying that those are separate claims. DA lost this based on ROE on 3 different ROE violations. So long as one of those violations is true, that's a raid loss and forfeit.
But you're saying that, so you're saying that there are 4 RE violations with them going out of the base and not going back.
5.
Then, okay. But I thought the 5th was the fact that they had 3 or more RE violations.
No, if you go read section 6, I'm loading the screenshots for the DA diplomatic chat. It's going to pull us up on. If you're still in that, I'm sure you could pull it up as well. And it's loading
Yeah,
as
I'm
well.
looking at the RE right now.
Okay. Can you post it in the Skype just for convenience here?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Go ahead. I've got Skype on my phone as well, so just post that from here.
Awesome.
Don't forget to add screenshots from the previous discussion as well.
Oh yeah, here. So there's that. And then this was the lobby.
Yeah, I guess we'll go back to that one later, but I don't know how you open up a Skype screenshot. We had to do this before. But I'm sure if you pay attention there, it should be section 6, rule 4. Can you read that for me? I think that's one. I'm looking at it like super small.
Teammate commit no more than 3 section 4 or section 5 violations during a single raid. 4 or more violations is considered an automatic forfeit.
Yes. So there were 5. Benghazi was in spawn attacking a base from 107 to 118. He committed suicide. At 118 he returned to base, committed suicide, and went back to spawn. 118 to 120, returns to base at 120, commits suicide, goes back to spawn. 120 to 122, that's 3. He then returns to spawn at 127 to 138, that's 4, and then Monkey from 106 to 124 is 5. If you scroll up and look at the post that Helios posted, he reports those times. He fails to report the times Benghazi committed suicide. That would be 5 ROE violations.
That would be, if you're talking about that, 5 ROE violations, but that is not what it's saying in section. And that's what you're claiming is
there were 5 section RO. Yes, there are 5. What is it? Section 6 says there's 5 section 4 ROE violations?
Yeah.
Yes, and that's 5 section 4 ROE violations. He committed the same. He broke that rule. Well, he broke that 4 times.
Rather.
I could pull. Give me a second. It's loading. I could pull it up. I'm sure you're familiar with the rule in question. It's the when you're in spawn, you have to make a actual attempt to return to base. And you cannot attack people in spawn. I'm sure it's in the diplomatic chat text as well. Let me see.
So it says the defending team may attack individuals in the spawn area exclusively to retrieve a teammate who has died and is actively attempting to return to the base. This individual is permitted to attack anyone who attempts to stop his escape.
Yes, and he was not attempting to return to base. As I'm sure you're aware, Helios in his post there confirmed that he did break that.
Yes.
Yes, so we know he broke this ROE rule. That's not a question. He broke it 5 times. That's not a question. 5 is greater than 3. That's a raid forfeit.
Val, are you there?
Yeah, I'm reading the ROE.
Go ahead.
I apologize. So this was also something else I wanted to talk to you about.
No, can we first address this one?
Oh yeah. No. This has to tie in with this. So let me take a look. Which one was that again?
It still won't open up these screenshots. I don't know what this is.
Defending team. Yeah. So the defending team may attack individuals in the spawn area exclusively to retrieve a teammate who has died and is actively attempting to return to the base. The way that I'm reading that is that the defending team, so people from the base, may only attack, or may only, obviously attack individuals that are in the spawn area exclusively to grab, a teammate who has died while they're trying to get to the base.
Yeah.
That does not.
Once again, Helios, a couple days after the raid, confirmed that this ROE was breached. You can see that in diplomatic chat. Unless you're now questioning the decision made weeks ago by DA, then this is a non-conversation. Are you saying that Helios was wrong?
Let me go take a look and see exactly what Helios said. I know there are two chats. Do you know which one he posted it in?
It's the Exodus Divine Angel official diplomatic chat.
Okay, so
Power, could you also provide that screenshot?
Here we are. So Divine Axios says, quote, "We didn't spawn kill for 42 minutes. We just broke Rule 11 for 42 minutes. Rule 11 is the rule you just read. So we've Divine Axios, your clan leader, confirming that you guys broke this rule."
Okay.
So are you saying Axios and Helios are both wrong in this judgment, and you guys actually didn't break that rule?
No.
Okay, so we established that you broke that rule, and footage confirms you broke it 5 times. If needed, after this film, I can go ahead and post the times he killed himself on YouTube just to verify it. But
that would be great, actually.
Yeah, he went through and killed himself twice, so we have a cumulative 5 ROE violations here, which would be a raid forfeit. So it's bewildering to Exodus how DA reviewed this game footage, was aware of this, and still declaring a raid win. perhaps
Val, do you have a
have some clarification on that?
Oh, sorry. I was rereading. I was reading.
Go ahead. Yeah, no
section
problem.
7.
Sections.
Not section 7. So what you're stating is you're counting them as all individual breaks, rather than the whole.
Helios
versus-
established the 3060 is irrelevant to this conversation. Helios established that whenever they return to base, that's a separate break in the ROE, right? Because if that's not true, then you would have to count as one continuous time span, which clearly would be well over 60, right? So it's established by the rule itself makes it clear that returning to base resets means you're no longer in violation. But Helios in his comment confirms that returning to base ends that ROE violation. So the fact that he returned to base and went back 5 times means that he broke ROE 5 times. Well, he broke it 4, then Monkey broke it once, but 5 total, which would be over 3, which would be a raid forfeit.
Okay.
So I guess we agree that if Exodus can provide proof that that there were 5 unique time frames of this ROE being breached, that DA would acknowledge this raid as a forfeit.
Yes.
Okay.
I can safely say that. Because, me looking at the ROE and looking at it, definitely, I definitely have to agree with you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Would it be fair for us to ask each other questions? Like unless you have questions for us, Mel. So I know we discussed all the major.
If you guys want to ask each other questions real quick to verify some things within the current war, it's perfectly followed by me. Do you have another question for Val that you would like to ask?
I guess if Val's questions, for me, that'd be fine. I'll field them.
I personally don't have any questions for you. Well, beyond the stuff I have to ask you after the debate. But I don't have anything relating to something that. I think if that's something. Well, I know FS. Malevolent. I know you told me you wanted to get into our opinions on maps and stuff like that. So I didn't know exactly what you wanted to do with that.
I did want to ask you guys opinions about map using of different clients as well. Such as, for example, actually using a DA map for a raid. If you guys want to go ahead and do that question right now, it's perfectly fine with me. I believe Howard, correct me if I'm wrong, Exodus does not have an issue of clients using their map as long as credit is due, and vice versa. You don't have an issue using other clients' maps unless credit is due.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah. The policy effectively is that any client can use our map so long as they give proper credit to Exodus and the author. Exodus can use any other clan's map as long as we give credit to that clan and the author.
And Vel, Divine Angels is the complete opposite. They believe that their maps created by their own members, by their own forgers, are their territory, their maps, and may not be used from any other clients without any type of permission. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah, so the way that we work is, I know definitely, I was watching the community podcast, Power Your Room, that as well, where you guys went over this a little bit. We definitely, we agree that, people can use our maps if, we give them strict permission. If somebody were to ask and say, hey, we really want to use your map, is that all right? And let's say we did give them permission to use it, then that would be fine. But we think that, taking somebody's map, with the intent of using the map, bookmarking it would be, I would say okay. If you don't have the intent of using it during a raid or something like that, a meeting map, stuff like that. If you're not using it for your clan, so for instance, if you're not using the map to train or to do raids on or to hold meetings, then we see no problem with you having the said map bookmarked. Uh, but if you have the map and you're actively on it, or you take the map, edit it, change it, whether or not you give us credit, we still would not like you to do that.
Okay. So
If I
you
may,
said,
Howard,
oh,
if I
go ahead.
real quick.
Uh,
For quite a while, from my personal view, is I seen clans share maps all the time. As long as credit is due, there's no issue of a clan using another clan's map. Because if you really think about it, if I wanted to, I could download all of Power's maps, all of your maps, all of any other clan's maps, and use them. There's no set things like, oh, I can't use your map, but it's right there. It's public. I know for a fact back on Halo 4 and Reach, there was a lot of map sharing back then. Why is it that Vine Angels feel so strongly against that?
Well, this is something that I know, Caesar did bring up in the last one. It has to do with, culture and the way that our clan operates. I'll use this as a great example. Obviously we're an angelic-based clan, so we've got a bunch of angelic-based maps. Whether you've got, let's say, a UNSC-based clan who's going to have some UNSC frigates or stuff like that. When you have people that are using all sorts of, different types of maps, it starts to take away from the culture. Along with, let's say, an angelic theme is our culture, not, let's say Exodus. So, it would be a little odd for them to use the map. Obviously, if they end up making one, that's fine. In fact, I think you guys did have one a while back, which was pretty cool. I believe it was like Mount Olympus or something like that. But it all has to do with our culture and our maps, our territory. I definitely agree with in certain instances, this is something that has to be talked over in ROE. But like, let's say you manage to take someone's map and they let you use it because you took it. I know some clans did that. Back on Reach, which is I think that's pretty cool. That's something you would definitely have to talk about in ROE. Something you'd have to have strict. It definitely wouldn't be a norm, but I definitely don't think that taking somebody's map, when they don't want you to, is just.
okay.
But
I'll ask a couple questions here. So, I guess a point of point of clarification here. I understand. Can everybody hear me? I'll make sure everybody can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. You said that DA doesn't have an issue with people bookmarking their maps. Because that comment came from Axios, who outranks you, and he is yet to adapt to that comment, I must assume that DA still has issue with people bookmarking their maps. Okay.
What just happened?
I don't know. I dropped out for a second, but I'm back.
Yeah,
Because
that was awkward.
because Axios was the person who made that comment, he's yet to adapt to that comment in any meaningful way. I must assume that DA still has issue with people bookmarking their maps, which is ironic because your map account had one of our maps bookmarked. I guess that wouldn't be an issue because our policy would allow that. Although he did lie because he said that account had only DA maps on it, which is false because it had one of Exodus maps bookmarked. You also said that the issue with clans using DA's maps was that it affects your culture, correct?
Yeah.
How would another clan using your map affect your clan's culture?
It wouldn't directly, harm our culture. What I'm saying is that, we create certain maps for us or for a certain sort of culture. So, a great example is, like NRI will create, a Helgen-based map, or UAE
I understand
of a Hellish-based map. So when it comes down to it, there are some really cool maps out there, and I definitely understand, the appeal to using some really nice maps. But something that, is really cool to see is when you go around and you see, okay, here's a UNSC-based clan. They've got a UNSC-based map. They've got this, you're just saying Healy-based clan. They've got saying Healy-based map. Insurrectionist. Angelic, you got Angelic, but when you have a military using an Angelic and a Helghast and a St. Healy, it gets a little odd. Not saying that can't be done.
Besides, I guess besides being a little odd, What's actually wrong with it?
I think, if you're making the maps, there isn't. But I think when it comes to making a map specifically for your clan, for your culture, like, for instance, we've got an Archangel map that's for the promotion of our.
Are you setting? It feels like you're setting a requirement for a clan to have a unique culture.
No. What I'm saying is that, like, for instance, we have our culture,
Yes.
and other clans might not have the same culture. Therefore, I wouldn't understand, using the map.
Yeah, but there's a difference between not understanding and saying it's wrong.
I'm gonna say it's wrong to take maps that you're not giving permission. I'm gonna say it's odd to take maps. Well, I'm gonna say it's wrong to take maps in general.
Clans that
without giving
probably have a
permission.
forge or anything sort of that. They need maps to provide for
I
their
guess-
members.
I guess it's also no. I guess I'll ask. So it's interesting also how you said that you have issue with clans using maps without permission. So because DA toured and approved the map, your own map for raid usage, right? You approved Exodus using your map. What was actually wrong with that?
Well, oh shit! Sorry, I just dropped something.
No problem.
I don't see a problem with, let's say you guys were to, have the map bookmarked, and I know that you guys, I know you guys did, and I don't know why I actually was freaked out about that. But when it comes to, using it and why we approved it, we're at war, and at this point, we're going to agree to anything or mostly anything that you guys put up there. If you guys put, one of the most OP
Were you
pieces
forced to agree?
Well, you got to look at it from our perspective.
I'm
If you've
asking.
got-
I'm asking. Were you forced to agree?
I would have to say, I would personally have to say yes.
On what basis?
So think about it like this: if we were to say we do not agree to you guys using our map, you would most likely sit there and bring up why not.
Is that an
Except-
assumption?
Yes, that is assumption.
So you're saying you were forced to use your map. You're saying that you were forced to agree to the map based on an assumption.
If we denied you guys access of using the map, you guys would have sat there and
Is that an
talked about it.
assumption?
Yes.
So once again, are you saying you were forced to using the map based off an assumption?
Yes.
Do you see the problem with that?
I'm trying to put it in a way that you'll understand, because
I mean, I feel like it's pretty clear. Like, DA never said or never requested we use another map for this raid. That request was never made. Axios said that he was upset with me bookmarking the map. He in no point requested that we not use this raid for this map. There's no request for Exodus to switch maps, right? We informed you that we were going to use the map. Instead of requesting we change maps, you decided it would be better to add a teleporter so you can declare a raid win. It's a severe jump in logic, right? How you're going to say that you are forced into agreeing to the map when you never even attempted to disagree. You never attempted to say no.
Bell, are you there?
yeah.
Do you have a rebuttal?
I would have to say, like, I agree with your logic. I have to agree with your logic.
Is there any problems with my logic?
With your logic?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so I think that really ends the conversation there, then, right?
I suppose.
So just to be clear here, DA was not forced into agreeing to the map.
No.
Okay. So if you were not forced into agreeing to the map, what's the problem with Exodus using a map that you willingly agreed to use? Like, you willingly agreed for us to use? You gave us permission to use your map. So I guess what's the problem with us using it? You gave us permission to do it. It seems to be erroneous how you're going to accuse us of map stealing when, as you just said, you agreed to give us permission to use it.
Yeah. I think more of the problem has to be with your foreign policy overall. Not exactly with that exact moment in time.
Oh, but
more
that exact moment in time is the basis of DA claiming we're stealing maps, and you making a video telling the entire community that we're stealing maps, right? So this particular incident is important.
Yeah, but also in that video, I did bring up your guys' foreign policy, etc., and how that works. I mean, I think that's. I mean, I definitely don't agree with your foreign policy. I know other people don't either, but that's with that. I would have to say, I mean, I don't really understand, and this is something I actually wanted to ask. I know FS was saying if we had any questions. So, on what basis do you really think that just because you let some people use your maps, like that, you can use everybody's?
We can use people's maps because they're publicly searchable and viewable maps.
Okay. And so, with that being said, because, like, let's say, as an example, let's say FS has a map, and or FS wants to use Exodus maps, and so they do so. So because FS can use your maps, you're letting us, or you're going to use one of our maps.
It's not because the fact that they're using our map is irrelevant, right? They're using what we view our grounds to use their maps on the basis that their maps are publicly viewable and downloadable maps. Out of respect, we're going to provide proper credit to these authors because we aren't going to go ahead and say we made these maps, right? That's a problem. But if we're giving proper credit, I don't see any issue as to why we shouldn't be able to download and use public maps. For example, I'm sure you played Duck Hunt, right?
Yes.
Did you ask the author to download and play Duck Hunt?
No.
So did you steal his map?
I think when it comes to the Halo community as a whole versus the clan community, I think it's
why are clan maps treated differently?
Because I think, well, first of all, this is a roleplay community. So, I mean, if you want to talk about how this is different, that's a Forge creator that created the map with the intent of letting
Is that an assumption?
No, that's not an assumption.
So you're saying that you know.
If you were to go ask right now, go ask the creator of Duck Hunt. They will 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, say that they created the map for other people to play.
You're saying that you can predict his answer.
If he didn't want people to use the map, then he would have what? He wouldn't have created it in the first place.
So so by that logic, right? If DA didn't want people using their maps, you probably just shouldn't have made them in the first place, right?
But the difference is what I'm trying to say with the Halo clan community versus the Halo community, as a whole, would be, let's say, the creator of Duck Hunt. He makes the map so that way people can enjoy his custom game. We make our maps that our clan can use our maps.
You're assuming his motive. Like, once again, you're assuming the motives of the author of Duck Hunt, right? Have you ever spoken to him?
No.
So how do you know what he's thinking?
I would guess I would have to say I don't 100% know.
So then your argument here is based on you're assuming the beliefs of the Duck Hunt person. So for all we know, he could have made this map to play with his friends. Just his friends and nobody else, right? But you don't know that, but it's an assumption that could be made, right? So it's strange how we're going to say that downloading that map isn't theft, but downloading a clan map is certainly theft.
Also, I think, like I said, because this is a roleplay community, you're not going to be using Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt is available publicly, well, obviously, for everybody.
Clan maps.
Yep. And with that being said, if the author of Duck Hunt were to say, please don't download Duck Hunt, and you downloaded Duck Hunt, I guess I would call that theft, right?
But
But
the Hunter creator didn't say that.
no, that's what I'm saying.
If he did, yeah, if he did.
If he did.
His logic makes sense. Go ahead.
If he did, then okay, that would be, in my eyes, considered theft. He said, don't use the map, and use the map, then boom, use the map. Same thing with clan maps. Somebody goes, okay, I don't give you permission to use this map, or if you take a map without permission, then I guess I would consider it theft.
So
And
if
I
a clan
think
leader, for example, says you don't have permission to bookmark our maps, and then I bookmark it, do you view that as theft?
No.
So you're saying
I view it as
Axios? You're
theft.
saying Axios was
I view
wrong
it-
when he said, "Well, we stole his map because we bookmarked it."
No. What I'm saying is that if you bookmark a map and you use it,
No. See, I bookmarked the map and I didn't play it yet. I'm sure you know, I don't really play Halo often, right? So I bookmarked the map and I notified him that I bookmarked the map, right? And he said that I didn't give you permission to bookmark this map. So if I bookmarked the map without permission, is that theft? Because according to Axios, he's implying it is.
no.
So you're
Just
disagreeing with Axios.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. So I guess this brings up an interesting point, right? Or earlier when we discussed surprise radar, we said that in issues where foreign policy isn't formally written down, it's based upon the agreed opinions of your leadership, right? But we have a case where you and Axios distinctly disagree on a topic. Should we defer to
Yeah.
the opinion of Axios here?
I mean, when it comes to the map stealing, I think this is all personal opinion. I don't think
Well, yes, but
like when me
DA
and you
certainly
say
has a
this-
stance.
Oh yeah. We just strongly disagree on everybody using maps without permission.
So-
That's DA's public official stance.
Presumably the clan leader's opinion would take supremacy here. So presumably DA's current opinion is that you need permission to simply bookmark a DA map.
Sure.
Do you think that's a reasonable policy?
I personally do not.
Okay. Further questions? Mal? I guess I can ask my question. Okay. Mal, yeah, so
Actually, I'm sorry, Power, to interrupt you in a sense. I actually do want to get back on the topic on surprise rate since you mentioned it again. Since we really didn't give, you two didn't really agree upon if surprise raid
Can I-
will be counted or not. If that's fine with you two.
I would actually like to pursue a different line of questioning. It's an important line of questioning for the public, right? So I think it's important that it's probably the most important question for the general public to know, right? So, Val, what is DA's current reasoning behind their war with Exodus?
Okay. So I'll flat out I'll tell you the whole story why we declared war and up to right now why obviously we're still at war. So BAI came to us saying they were built from Exodus. They declared war and that they wanted us to go ahead and help them out and declare war. So we accepted. And the reasoning being obviously we're helping our ally. On top of that, we have had, problems with Exodus in the past, not only on Reach but also on Halo 5 with some spies, Exodus sending spies into DA. On top of that, we actually did declare war, and Shaky Divine managed to, I guess, talk it down, and we all talked it over, and that was fine. With that being said, we haven't really liked Exodus for a while. And when it comes to continuing on the war as BAI has ended, well, first of all, we've gotten involved with this war, to a big extent. So it's not something we're just going to quit. On top of that, you've got, obviously the BAI members, one of the main being Guy Russo and Riddick. Since they're in DA, we decided to continue it as well.
If I may, real quick.
No, I want the follow-ups here. So you're saying that you had past problems with Exodus, right? You specifically cited spies. When did these incidents occur?
I believe it was a couple months ago. I would have
You-
to get. I was not in DA at the exact current time.
When did you join DA?
Axios. I joined DA, I think roughly around 2-3 months ago.
So you're citing justification, or one of your points of justification were incidents that happened at least in like July. Do you think it's a reasonable? You think it's a reasonable stance?
I think it was. Well, obviously, like I said,
At the earliest, July, right? Because
Yeah, at the
I
earliest.
know.
No, I understand.
I know as a matter of reasonable fact here that I personally haven't authorized any operations against the DA, and I've been CFAO since like February. And I know Axios brought up these issues with Exodus when I was the first CFAO back in like February. So, in my reasonable assumption, these incidents in question happened almost, if not over a year ago. So it's interesting how you're citing incidents that are almost a year old as a reasonable justification, or as one of your points of justification.
What I said was, BAI did come to us and they asked.
Yeah, you listed that
Exactly.
you asked BAI
that-
past problems
with
with BAI. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So with that being said, because BAI, we were allies and they asked us to declare war, we did, and on top of that, like I said, it was basically more wood towards the fire.
Do you know why
It was just-
BAI declared war?
I believe it was because they thought Corey was corrupt. They thought you were corrupt, and they didn't like the way that everything was heading. So
That would be incorrect, because conveniently, Divine Access shared a message with me that came from Guy Russo that reads, quote, "The main reason we declared war against Exodus was because we hate seeing Exodus like this. Exodus is like a dying animal in a trap. It's just waiting to die. Hycon ruined the name of Exodus, and it needs to be put out of its misery." So it wasn't about corruption when the, quote, main reason we declared war was because we effectively want to put Exodus out of its misery. So it clearly wasn't about corruption. Do you know what their claims regarding Exodus and Hycom were?
I do not.
Do you think that's an important thing to know?
Currently, as it seems, BAI is no longer in war now; it's strictly Exodus.
So you don't believe that the Genesis, well, you don't believe that the reason why the war started is important to know.
Oh, I definitely think it is. But as now, it's BA dropped out and they joined DA. I think it's lesser importance.
I think it's important. You would have had to agree to support BAI because of their claims of corruption and Hycom, right? So at that point in time would have been important. Were you aware of what the reasons were at that time, or no?
No.
So you were never aware of what their claims regarding Hycom corruption were.
Me personally, no. I'm sure Axios was.
You're telling me that as the Foreign Affairs Administrator of DA, you were not aware of the main reason why your ally brought you into a war.
I can tell you what I was told.
But
and
you
from what I was told-
just said you didn't know.
No, what I'm saying is for the exact reasonings for the corruption and all of that.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
Do you know what those claims of corruption were?
No, I believe that was at the time I was a lower rank, so I know that was discussed.
So
with-
you weren't the Foreign Affairs Administrator of DA when the war started, or you were?
I don't believe I was.
I'm sure I can check that.
Thank you.
I believe you were, because during your video regarding the claims of, I believe you were Spirit of DA for some time. When did you achieve the rank of Spirit of DA?
Let me check. Sorry, I'm gonna go off of this really quickly. Just give me a moment.
No problem.
Give me 1 moment.
I'm sure to actually check your YouTube videos. I believe you.
Howard, since we're waiting for Val to reply, would you mind if I asked you a question?
Go ahead.
Between what happened in the Exodus is going to Commandos, I believe some people don't know about that.
Yeah. So Yeah. So in case Vel doesn't know, apparently, so I guess I should clarify for him as well. The main reason why, the reason why the Commandos left Exodus, and the main reason why they claimed we were corrupt, was because Riddick and Garbusa, most specifically Rising Riddick, who was at that time the commissioner of the Commandos, made it clear that the priorities of the Commandos were Commandos first, Exodus second. So the well-being of Exodus was secondary to the well-being of the Commandos subdivision. High Command viewed this as a problem that any given branch of Exodus should not have the well-being of the clan itself as a primary objective. We demanded they change this. They refused to, so they left. So
Did Riddick at the time confirm why they put the Commandos at first before Exodus?
it was the way it's always been. I have hours of recordings of these conversations for purposes of not escalating the conflict at that point in time. They weren't released, but I'm reasonably sure I still have them, and I might release them just for purposes of clarity. But it was always tradition. It was the way the Commandos always were. The way the Commandos always operated. They were always Commandos first, Exodus second. And they cited there was no reason to change that. We were of a different opinion given the historical, the recent failures of the Commandos during the vast conflict and during previous conflicts. So when we asked for a clarification of who they were loyal to, they refused to change that, so they left. And then declared war because we wouldn't let them exist in that state. So with that in mind, Val, you there?
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Did you believe that was a reasonable stance for the Commandos to have?
I think that what they obviously what BAI does would be their own. Would be obviously up to.
Would you be okay with the Archangels in DA declaring that the priorities of the Archangels were Archangels first, DA second?
I think it would have to depend on. Well, it'd have to depend on a multitude of things.
Such as?
Well, first of all, what they do outside of, let's say I'm going to use Commandos, outside of Exodus. So how they operate and, what they do for the clan as a whole. And obviously what they're doing, how it would have to relate. So, for instance, could you explain to me, what they were doing that would make them, or that they would do for themselves rather than Exodus? Would that be getting more commando conscripts in, or would that be doing training sessions for commandos, or?
It was the well-being of the Commandos being prioritized over the well-being of Exodus. That's a broad policy statement on the Commandos.
That is rather broad.
So, would you agree with the Archangels adopting a similar policy?
I wouldn't see, obviously, there would be a problem, but I don't think that it would be something that we would end up removing them for.
We didn't remove them. We requested they change their. We requested that they and they left. So you're saying that it's their situation. You're actually saying that it's reasonable for a branch in a clan to be loyal to that branch first and then the clan second.
No. I'm sorry, I've totally got my foot in my mouth today,
Yeah,
and I apologize for that.
no problem.
No, I think that they should definitely be loyal to that branch, but I think that for what they're doing for their branch, they should make sure that that's all running up and good. But I definitely do not think that they should be worrying about, for instance, archangels shouldn't be worrying about the core or the heavens army. They shouldn't be worrying about that. They should be worrying about their branch versus the rest of the clan. Does that make any sense? And I do apologize. I've been up for.
Just to clarify what the commandos are saying, they're saying that the well-being continuation of the commandos was their first priority. The well-being and the continuation of Exodus was their second priority. If the Archangels adopted a similar policy in DA, would you find that reasonable?
No.
So would you suppose the Archangels came to you and said that we are going to prioritize our Archangels first, DA second? Would you permit that in DA?
Well, obviously we would ask them to change.
And if they didn't?
If they didn't, we would try to work things out.
And if they didn't?
And if they didn't, well, we would ask them to either leave or, probably just leave.
So assuming, well, I know as a certainty, but you don't. So assuming that there's definite evidence that the commandos prioritize their well-being over the well-being of Exodus, you would support the decision of Exodus High Command to demand that the commandos were loyal to Exodus first.
Well, I mean, obviously, you can demand that, but it all depends on what they're going to do.
So, suppose they left over that, right? Would you think that Exodus was in the wrong?
No.
So, given that's what happened with that's what happened with the BAI and Exodus, BAI's claims of corruption of Exodus High Command wouldn't be true because you just said that the decision was reasonable, correct?
Yes.
So, assuming that there is evidence that the commandos prioritize the well-being of commandos over Exodus, you're saying that the decisions made by Exodus Command were reasonable. With that in mind, why did DA support BAI?
Well, first of all, like I said, BAI was our ally, and
they made their alliance. Yes, but did you guys evaluate this stuff or no?
On what standards?
Did you guys evaluate the reason why BAI left Exodus?
No.
You think that's an important thing to evaluate?
No, I did not.
Do you know if anybody in DA did?
I'm almost definite Axios did.
Do you think do you think it was a reasonable decision to support them and declare war on Exodus based upon the situation I just explained?
Well,
because you just said that Exodus was justified in its decision. Once again, we're going to assume there's proof that this occurred, because there is. You're saying that Exodus Command was justified in their decision, and then DA declared war saying that Exodus was corrupt based on a decision you just said was justified. How do you reason that?
I mean, the only thing I would be able to say was I would have to reason it with, us backing up our ally.
Do you think your ally was justified?
Do we think BAI was justified?
Yeah.
Me, by personal opinion.
Yeah, do you personally believe BAI was justified?
If BAI declared war, because of the way that Guy Russo said, to get rid of you guys. I don't see anything wrong with getting rid of Exodus, as a whole, because you did say that was, their main incentive was to kill Exodus. Obviously,
HighCom ruined the name of Exodus. Can you explain ways HighCom ruined the name of Exodus?
What would you mean?
Guy Russo claimed that HighCom ruined the name of Exodus. certainly you can name some ways that HighCom ruined the name of Exodus.
Well, first off, something that I would like to say
Yeah.
is, I mean, if you look at some other community figures, etc., you would look at things like, obviously, we already went over map theft, and all of that.
Can you define map theft?
My stance on map theft.
Certainly, DA has an official stance on map theft.
Yep.
What's
So
DA's official definition of map theft?
our official definition on map theft map theft. Well, I can't speak today. Map theft would be downloading a map with the intent of using it for interclan or external use. So let's say you use a map, you download a DA map, you plan to do a raid on a DA map. That would be map theft.
So permission doesn't matter there? So the fact that DA gave permission for us to use the map doesn't matter?
If you're given if you're given permission, then yes, you can use the map, obviously.
So
but
by
if you
that
download
logic,
maps without permission,
by that logic, in the raid in question, Exodus did not steal DA's map because you guys gave us permission.
we approved the use.
Which is
for
a
the
permission. So we didn't steal the map.
No.
So in that conversation in the community chat, where you and Gyrusa and Axios were all saying that we stole the map, we didn't actually steal the map?
By logic, I guess I would have to say no.
So when did this policy? When was this policy? When was that definition created? Because if that definition existed during that raid, then you were knowingly lying to the community.
That definition is just what.
Val, you still there?
Yep. Sorry. So that definition would be something that we've always talked about. I mean, when it comes to
Was that definition in place during the raid?
yes,
So we just agreed that under that definition, Exodus didn't steal the map. That definition existed during the raid. So you know that we didn't steal the map under your own definition of map theft, and you went in the community chat telling everybody you stole your map. Is that not lying? Did DA lie about Exodus stealing a map?
by the way that I'm trying to say this, I guess, when it comes to logic, I guess by logic you would have to say no, you guys didn't quote unquote steal the map.
So, okay, so once again,
But
you're
when it
saying
comes
logically.
to,
No, we're
when
saying logically, Exodus didn't steal the map. We're saying that definition existed during the raid. We're saying that after that raid, you went and said we stole the map. So, how is that? Did DA lie to the community by saying Exodus stole the map? Yes or no?
No, I would have to say we did not. Within the kick chat, we said to you,
Discord.
"Yo, we don't want you using the map." I know it was in a.
No, I understand, right? But I'm saying DA approved the usage of this map, correct?
Yes.
Under your definition of map theft, we did not steal the map, correct?
Correct.
That definition existed during the raid, correct?
Correct.
So, under the definition of DA, under DA's definition of map theft during the raid, Exodus didn't steal the map. Immediately after that raid, you, Axios, Gyrusa, and a number of other DA members said we stole the map. How is that lying? You were aware of your official definition. You were aware that we didn't steal it under that definition, and you proceeded to tell everybody we stole your map. Correct?
Val, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you have a response?
I do not.
I think we're like, it's abundantly clear that DA lied. And the fact that you're refusing to confirm that DA lied is very telling about DA's conduct in this war. Because right now, I'm sure you're a smart person. I'm sure you're perfectly aware that by definition you lied. You're refusing to admit that. Enough said. Let's move topics.
That was mainly all the questions I have. Do you guys have any other questions that you want answered between each other? If not, I believe we can call this debate over.
Awesome. I do not have anything else.
So, I guess just to touch back once more to the justification for BI's declaration of war, right? You're saying that Exodus Command was justified in its decisions regarding BAI, assuming there's evidence that the commandos prioritize themselves over Exodus, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And if that's true, then would you believe you believe that BAI was unjustified in declaring war against Exodus?
On a personal stance, no.
Okay, so
I
I just want to be clear, because you're saying that you're saying it was justified for BAI to declare war in order to kill Exodus off because it was no longer the Exodus they loved, effectively, in so many words.
Sure.
How is that not what Vass did?
Personally, this is obviously of me. I don't think that there's much things wrong with that. I think that if you're gonna declare war on a clan, because you want to declare war on a clan, I think that's fine. I don't think, obviously for declaration of war, I don't really think there's a right or a wrong.
Do you believe that Vass was justified in their initial decision to declare war in order to change leadership in Exodus?
I think what Vass did, I think he approached it wrong.
I don't believe the Vass War and Exodus War is really relevant to the current discussion.
Yeah.
I think it is, right? Because what BAI said was, quote, the main reason we declared war on Exodus was because we hate to see Exodus the way it is. It's like a dying animal in a trap. It's just waiting to die. HICOM ruined the name of Exodus, and we want to put it out of its misery. That is effectively what Vass said in its whatever announcement, that we need to attack Exodus to remove Corey and Power from command in Exodus, because they're ruining Exodus and it's no longer the Exodus we love. Make Exodus great again, right? That's effectively the same line of logic. So BAI's declaration was effectively a repeat of what Vass did.
Yep.
So in supporting BAI, you're effectively saying that you found Vass's declaration of war reasonable.
Yes.
So you're saying that you personally feel that Vass was justified in their declaration of war.
I think that they went I think that Vass, they went about it the wrong way.
How do you think they should have gone about it?
Well, first of all, they went about it. They went about it the way to say, okay, we want so and so removed from power. I think that's totally uncalled for. I don't think you can say, I want such and such. I think trying to dictate over who people have in their clan is wrong.
Well, certainly that's effectively what BAI did in saying that.
Well, the thing is that BAI went about it differently. BAI didn't say, yeah, we're going to leave and declare war, but you can all end it, if you remove power and court, from power. That's not what they said. They said that they were going to kill Exodus, which I think would have been the better approach if Vass had straight up just said, we're declaring war on Exodus. Our intentions are to destroy Exodus.
You think it's reasonable? You think it's reasonable that Exodus, who expressed they had no hostile intentions for BAI, right? You're saying it's reasonable for a clan to declare war on another clan, even though there's no threat to that clan. Exodus was no threat to BAI, yet they declared war, against Exodus. You're saying that a war of you're saying that a war of aggression like that is justified.
I don't see why it shouldn't be.
Okay, fair enough. That's all the questions I have. Is that it? Can everybody hear me? Hello?
Oh,
we're
okay.
back. Yeah, it should
Sorry
be good.
about
That's all the questions I have.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna re-ask what I said 'cause I did not realize that you dropped from the call. The main question I want to ask is on the debates on the second raid, I believe, with more than 5 violations against DA. What
Yeah,
can we see evidence on that?
I have to go back and dive through that game footage, but it wouldn't be super hard. I mean, I think I already have like phone grade quality videos, but in terms of hard video capture, I can get it up by tomorrow. It won't be too hard.
All right. Like I said, that's all the questions I had. If you guys have any other questions for each other, I
Nope,
believe
I
we
don't.
can just debate.
Awesome. Well, it was good talking with you guys.
Yeah, it was fun.